Let's talk about Rolex 2022 releases. I also have a video about Tudor 2022 releases. It's already posted. Check it out after you finish watching this one. Let's get some of the models out of the way that we're not really interested in, like the Datejust 31mm. Yeah, okay, cool, whatever, no one cares about that. Yacht Master 42 available in their yellow gold case. It's a cool watch, but really not much is going on with this watch. To be honest with you, I'm not really that interested in it. They also have this other variant of the Yacht Master 42 with what they call a Falcon's Eye dial. It's essentially a textured bluish dial. Looks kind of interesting, but both of these watches are well out of my price point, the watches that I'd be interested in, the watches that I'd be looking for, so really this release doesn't do anything for me. What's interesting about these Yacht Masters is the watch that they didn't release, a watch that everyone was certain was coming, the titanium 42mm Yacht Master. We know that that watch exists, there are photos to prove that, but for whatever reason, Rolex decided not to release that Yacht Master. The next watch that I personally don't really care about is the 40mm Platinum Day Date with a fluted bezel. So it's the first Platinum 40mm watch that has a fluted bezel. That's how Rolex sells it. I mean, that's too many qualifiers to really make this watch special. You could get this watch, from my understanding, with a smooth bezel. Now you can get it with a fluted bezel. Once again, doesn't really do anything for me, and these watches are really uncomfortable to wear. If you ever experienced a Platinum Day Date or any Platinum watch for that matter, you know how heavy they are on the wrist. I really don't get why people wear these watches. They're just really uncomfortable. It looks like Rolex decided to get rid of their 41mm Oyster Perpetual Tiffany Blue Dial model. Very interesting. I think this model got way too hot for Rolex to control and they just decided to get rid of it altogether, similar to what Patek Philippe has done with their 5711 Nautilus. The next Rolex release that's really trying to sell itself as something interesting, but actually is quite boring, the new Air King with crown guards. What? Rolex, you're crazy. How could you put crown... Really, who cares? So this watch here has the updated movement. It has now crown guards, where before it didn't. It kind of looked like this, like the Explorer, similar case shape. The Air King is 40mm, the Explorer, the one that I have, is 39mm, but they're very similar in the case architecture. Well, now this watch has crown guards, so that's the change, and also they added lume on the indices on the dial. I mean, argument could be made that that lume should have already been on those indices on the dial. That's it. That's the change. I really don't get it. I really don't get this change. I mean, this update is sort of a non-update. I don't like how it looks with the crown guards. Also, this makes it very interesting because Milgauss is not discontinued. That watch is still available. Before this update, Milgauss and Air King shared the same case. Well, now they actually have two different cases. So Rolex has invested in all this new tooling for the Air King, but they still kept Milgauss the same. Will they discontinue the Milgauss? Will they update it next year? Who knows? But as it stands right now, they have two models that used to share the same case. Well, now one of them doesn't anymore. I guess that's sort of interesting. Now the last model, the GMT Master II. Now this one, I've seen videos pop up of it right before the release. I think Rolex accidentally leaked it and the renders looked pretty great. It went something like this. Hey watch enthusiast, you like GMT Master II? Yes. You want a two-tone bezel with green and black? Yes. You want it in stainless steel with Jubilee and Oyster bracelets? Yes. Alright, we're gonna give you all of that, but we're gonna make it left-hand drive. Alright, so you're gonna put the crown at the 9 o'clock position. I guess that's fine. We will also put the date at the 9 o'clock position instead of 3 o'clock position. So now the watch looks like it's upside down. What? What kind of thinking is this? The watch looks ridiculous. I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense. Visually, it just looks like the watch is upside down or like you're looking at it in a mirror. Really, really strange. I don't like it. I really don't like how this watch looks. It messes with my brain. Why? Why would you do this? This release reminds me of Tesla Model S Plaid, where they created this great car, but then they do all these weird things to make the car worse. Like instead of giving it steering wheel, they gave it this steering yoke that's not really functional. And it's the same thing here. If you wanted to make it left-hand drive, cool, you know, it's nice of them to think of all the people that are left-handed or people that just prefer to wear their watches on the right hand. That's noble enough. But why change the date to the other side? That makes no sense. It's not like people that are left-handed looking at the watch in a mirror somehow, or they're like, what is going on? the balls on Rolex to do this, it's crazy, because they gave people what they asked for, but in sort of like this backwards Rolex way. Nobody asked for this, nobody predicted this. I mean, other than the fact that it's kind of reversed, the watch itself is really handsome. I mean, they would have a hit on their hand. Instead, they just have this weird backwards watch. I don't get it. I don't get it. But you know what? People will still want to buy this. People will still go crazy over it. And that's the sad thing about this release. Bond, come here. Come up here on the camera. That's it. That's the video. Those were our reactions to Rolex 2022 releases. The thought that comes into my mind, it's boring and stupid, this release. Really no crazy changes except for this backwards model from the GMT Master II lineup. Thanks for watching this video. Check out the Tudor reactions as well, and we'll see you next time. Bye.